Voters will be faced with their widest choice yet in the upcoming national election. A record number of 48 political parties met the legal requirements to contest this year's election. One of these is the Land Party. To find out what they stand for, I'm joined by party leader Gcobani Ndzongana. Mr. Ndzongana, thanks very much for your time this evening. Why did you decide to call your party the Land Party? I know it sounds obvious, but...
First of all, good evening to the viewers at home. We decided to call the party Land Party because the party was formed by activists who were fighting for land in Hermanas in Zwelihle last year. So that is why we decided to call the party Land Party.
So it's not the only issue really that you're focusing on?
No. In fact, you know, our party is more focused on economy, you know, because we want to make sure that South Africa is becoming a global economic leader in the world. So that is what we are focusing on. We are focusing most on economy.
Well, virtually every party says it's focusing on the economy. How different are you from the rest of the field?
Look, our political organization, it's humanistic in nature. It's a socialist organization. You know, we are anti-racism. We are not nationalist organization like many other political parties. We are colorblind. We're an organization that talks about South Africans. So ours, we are anti-corruption. You know, we are anti any type of form of corruption, whether it is done by a black person or by a white person. We stand for justice for all and also for equality.
And just from what you've said in your own words, I am still looking for that distinguishing characteristic, you know, or the one thing that distinguishes you from everything else that we have seen and heard.
Okay. Vuyo, what we are talking about reforming South Africa's economy and opening up. Currently, the current policies of government, they are making it hard for any business person to come and make business in South Africa. If we are talking about, you know, a global investor, someone from overseas, or a foreign investor, it's difficult to come and make to do business in South Africa. One, because there are a lot of red tapes. There are a lot of red tapes. There's a lot of corruption. And ours, we are very clear that we want to remove all the red tapes that are there, and we want to make sure that we make it very easy to any investor to come and invest in this country. And we want to make sure that while we are doing that, we must make sure that the money that we get from the investors, it does not go to government, but it goes direct to the people. How so? We want to make sure, first of all, that we want to minimize the tax, you know, from any company that is doing business in South Africa. You know, we want to take over that button. We want to make sure that we minimize tax and make sure that companies, instead of investing more money, you know, in government with these tariffs that are being charged by government, they put more money in a living wage. So we are against what you call the minimum wage. We want a living wage. So that is what we are talking about. We want an environment where it will be very conducive for an investor and the workers to be able to benefit in the economy of the country. And that is what makes us more unique from other political parties.
Well, you may think you are unique, but I've heard the Democratic Alliance talking over and over again about the need to remove red tape, talking about how small businesses are or should be the backbone of the country's economy. I've heard them talking about tax or the need for tax concessions, certainly with regard to those that are prepared to invest and thereby create jobs. And even on the issue that we started talking about, which is the land issue, you've seen what both the African National Congress and the EFF have done or spearheaded in Parliament. You've seen or heard the debates around land expropriation without compensation. So it would seem that the issues that you regard as core issues for your party, there are people that are already running away with those issues and have probably sort of formed more cogent views and opinions around them. Or am I missing the point?
No, Vuyo, look, currently, let us be practical. DA is in charge of the Western Cape. It's very difficult to come and it's very difficult to make business in Western Cape. Let it alone that you are an investor from outside the country. Even if you are in the Western Cape. Let's talk, for instance, if you are an African, or maybe you are a poor person, you don't have money, you don't have capital. It's very difficult for you to make business, you know. So what are we saying? We are saying, for instance, make sure if the DA they were serious in the Western Cape, they were going to subsidize small businesses and make sure that they make sure that there is a tax relief. They are fighting for the tax relief to small businesses and make sure that those businesses that employ more locals, you know, those taxes also they get, you know, some reward when we talk about tax. Currently, come to Western Cape, you can go to any restaurant. It is only, you know, people from other countries, you know, I'm talking about our African brothers from Zimbabwe and all that stuff. DA is making sure that if you are a South African, that you are poor, you cannot work in one of their businesses. You talk about private businesses in the Western Cape, they are not open to everyone. So totally, that is not true. They can say whatever that they want to say, but the truth of the matter, their policies, they are not socialist policies. Those are not policies that they want the people to benefit. Talking about the issue of land, you know, ours were very clear. You know, we are totally against what was happening in Parliament. We know it was just a populist stance. What we are saying is that call referendum. Let South Africans decide what kind of land modality must be used, you know, to make sure that you deal with the issue of land. For instance, we say, make sure, change the constitution and strengthen the private ownership of land. Make sure that there are three types of layers of land. One, private land. Two, the state land. Thirdly, what we want to introduce in South Africa, when we talk about agriculture and food security, particularly in the agricultural sector, we're saying as the Land Party, there must be a collective, you know, collective ownership of land, not just, you know, few individuals. You can't be an individual and own a farm. That is where we're different from other political parties. We are saying there must be a collective ownership of farms. That is what we're talking about. So the other thing we are saying, let South Africans vote what kind of land modality, what kind of modality that can work to resolve the issue of land in South Africa. So we are totally different from other political parties. You know, that's it.
Well, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks very much for coming through this evening. Gcobani Ndzongana, he is the leader of the newly formed Land Party.